Just as Miles Morales is getting his life back to normal, Peter Parker, who has died years ago, has suddenly returned. My name is Bizkit Rebellion. I'm here to do a review of Miles Morales Ultimate Spider-Man issue number 2. Let's get started. The comic opens with Norman Osborn, who has just recently escaped from S.H.I.E.L.D.'s custody, returning to Osborn Industries and going to his lab looking for his super soldier serum. Back at Miles' family's apartment, we see Miles in a state of shock over Peter Parker's return. And by shock, I really mean that he's in shock for the next 2 pages before he actually says anything. When he gets out of shock, Miles questions Peter if his aunt knows if he's still alive, which Peter responds with no due to fear of Aunt May dying from shock. Later it's revealed that Peter does not like the idea of somebody taking up the mantle as Spider-Man. He also says that he was there at his own funeral, but at a distance. After saying that, Miles mistook him as a Peter Parker from another dimension, and even going as far as to referencing the Spider-Men event. For those that are not familiar with this event, it's a crossover event between Miles Morales from the Ultimate Universe and Peter Parker from Earth 616, or the actual Marvel. This event was also notorious for breaking the crossover rule in the Ultimate Universe and the 616 universe. The two then get into a heated argument over whether or not telling Aunt May that Peter is alive is a good idea. Peter demands to get his web shooters from Miles, but he refuses, so Peter tries to take it by force. When Peter grabs Miles' arm, he is hit with Venom Blast. Miles explains to a confused Peter that he is bitten by a different spider and in turn receive Venom Blast abilities. Peter, now understanding, tries to attack Miles, but then mysteriously vanishes. In Stark Command Center, we see the Spidey twins assaulting a bunch of security guards. Turns out they were looking for a package. Not much is said after this, only just them two complaining over them not preparing to see this many guards. I really don't know who's sending them to do these types of missions, but they're really not getting 100% information about the location that they're going to rob, because in the last issue, they also mentioned that they didn't expect the guards to even have weapons. Anyway, Miles pays a visit to his friend Genki to discuss what happened. Miles has come to the conclusion that the Peter that he saw is a clone. He also tells Genki that Black Widow or Jessica Drew is a clone of Peter Parker and to keep it a secret. As they are talking, they are soon greeted by Katie Bishop. The comic then ends with Miles about to tell Katie something he always wanted to tell her, and that is he is Spider-Man. Miles Morales Ultimate Spider-Man issue number 2, it's good. It's not great or worse, but good. The reason why I say that is because, one, I thought that there was going to be more of Norman Osborn, especially since he just escaped from S.H.I.E.L.D. You know, I kind of expected, oh, where's he going? Who's he going to interact? What's his next plan? All we got was just him going to his lab and getting his super soldier serum. That's pretty much it. Yes, it's a glimpse of what he might do next, but I kind of expected, you know, a little bit of more. Or at least him to say something. He didn't say anything throughout this whole issue, which was a little bit disappointing, but I'm fine the way how it is. Also, I expected, and I actually wanted, Miles to pressure Peter into saying, "How are you alive?" Especially since he has been dead for so long. No, all we got was whether if you told Aunt May if you're alive or not, which is alright. I kind of understand why they would have this argument, or at least this conversation, but I wanted to know a little bit more of how Peter Parker is alive. But anyway, oh yeah, another thing. Miles mentioned clone. I really hope, and I really do hope, that this storyline doesn't go like the Clone Saga back in Earth 616, or at least you get what I mean. The Clone Saga? Nah, I really didn't like that arc, and I hope it doesn't, or at least this storyline doesn't go that route. I hope it goes to something new, something fresh, or at least something completely different other than Clone, because Clone is a little bit too cliche and whatnot. But anyway, if I have to give this issue a rating, I have to give it an 8 out of 10.